Hello, Malaysians. Long time no see. Haven't posted a video clip for the last so many months since the last general election. I was very disappointed and quite sad that the victory of Pakatan Rakyat was stolen from them by Barisan Nasional and their co-conspirators in the various institutions of government. I mean, the courts have been so transparently unjust and unfair, and may I say, cockeyed. They didn't know exactly what the law was regarding their inquiry, and therefore they dismissed Pakatan's application under one pretext or another. But that's beside the point. This afternoon is now about 3 o'clock on the 7th of October, and I particularly wanted to address the issue of Peng's return to Malaysia. Of course, we're talking about the ashes of Peng. He was a patriotic and very loyal man to Malaysia, unlike me. I have nothing much that I regret for leaving Malaysia. But Peng was a very patriotic man who loved his country, and Malaysia was his country. And in spite of the fact that the Malays have denied his right of citizenship, you'll say he is not citizen, but that's not true, because we, during the days of the British colonial government, we were citizens in a sense, because we could live in Malaysia permanently, and there was no citizenship in the old days under the British. So everybody was the same. A Malay is the same as me. I mean, they also do not have citizenship. They are just people permanently resident in Malaya, and so was I, and so was Peng. But that's beside the point. I'm here today ready to discuss with you, or rather to lay before you my argument why Peng was a patriot and was a nationalist fighting for the independence of Malaya. Well, those days there was only Malaya, there was no Malaysia. Sabah and Sarawak were separate. Malaya was by itself, and Peng, as we know, came from Perak. He started to defend or to defend the national integrity of Malaya by first fighting the Japanese, and after the Japanese fought the British. Now, why is it that UMNO has been lying? Why is it that nobody has been able to put the finger on what UMNO has been saying is a lie? Because of this. You see, well, who was the government under the Japanese? Was it a Malay government, or was it a Japanese occupation government? Now, Peng fought the Japanese to drive the Japanese out of Malaya and to form a Malayan government. So he can only be fighting the Japanese. He did not fight the Malays as alleged. It's wrong. You see, during the time of the Japanese occupation, there was only the Chinese MPAJA, Malaysian People's Anti-Japanese Army, MPAJA. And then when the Japanese were driven out, Peng fought against the British to drive the colonial government out of Malaya. And during those days, he and the Chinese were the only people fighting the British. the Malays fought against the uh, uh, the, uh, the insurgency. You say whatever you like. This you can say the communists under Peng were all Chinese. You can say that, yeah. But they are still Malayan. They were not Chinese from China who fought against the British. It was Malayan people, Malayan Chinese fought against the British. Who was the government of the day during this colonial period? It was the British. The Malays fought against the Chinese, who fought against the British to drive the British out. So who was fighting who? The Malays were fighting on the side of the British to subdue the Chinese communists. Chinese communists, they wanted to drive the British out of Malaysia so that we can form a Malayan government. And who will form the Malayan government? It's not just the Malays, it's everybody. All Malayans have a right to participate in the government, but that is a discussion of equity and fairness which among the Malays do not exist. So that's beside the point. Malays fought against the communists. The communists did not fight against the Malays. The communists fought against the British. The Malays joined with the British to expel the communists. In other words, the Malays were supporting the British to remain as the government of Malaysia. So who fights who? Who is the nationalists? Who are the people who want to form a Malayan government run by Malayan people, regardless whether it's Chinese or Malay or Indians or whatever? We are all Malayans. But of course, after independence, you started all this Bhumiputra bullshit and, these racist policies. Then, of course, it flies in the face of those who claim that all people living in Malaysia are Malaysians. You see? So that's nonsense because in actual fact, even we Chinese who've got citizenship are not Malaysian enough. We are only second class. So my Chinese brothers and sisters, remember this. Feel proud that Peng, one of our brothers, fought for Malaysian independence. He has died. And the Malays in UMNO do not even have the grace to acknowledge that here was a gallant nationalist patriot who fought the British to form a Malaysian government made up of people of Malaysia. Well, I will stop here. I'll post this one because I have another clip coming up which I will discuss the criminal behavior of Tan Sri Hishamuddin bin Ibrahim, Tan Sri Azahar, and Tan Sri Azaharia of the Court of Appeal. All three of them committed criminal offences under Section 219 of the Penal Code and made criminals of themselves. I will discuss that in my next clip. Thank you very much.